This video discusses the data file contents and layout. This video also demonstrates how to rename the fields and change the data types. The data file contains fictitious sales transactions for an online popcorn retailer. The sales transactions are broken down by record ID, which is a unique ID assigned to a customer order as it's broken into flavors and sizes so that management can track inventory and know when to restock certain flavors and sizes. The data file contains 13 columns of information for each record ID. The first column contains the record ID. The second column contains the order number, which is a unique ID assigned to the customer order. Because customers may order multiple flavors and sizes in a single order, you may see the same order number for different record IDs. In other words, the order number tracks all of the items that are sent out in a single shipment to a customer, while the record ID tracks, again, the customer order broken into flavors and sizes. The next field contains the date and time that an order was placed by a customer. The fourth field contains the quantity of products associated with the record ID, and the next two columns contain the information about the flavor and the size of the popcorn that were ordered by the customer. The seventh column contains the product price, and the eighth column contains the order subtotal. The subtotal column would normally be the product that you obtained by multiplying the quantity and the product price. However, the online popcorn retailer provided new customers with a 90% purchase price discount. As such, the subtotal column will also incorporate the 90% discount when it was provided to a customer. The ninth column contains the sales tax, if any, that was collected from the online customer. The 10th column contains the order total, which is the sum of the subtotal and tax columns. The final three columns contain the city, state, and zip code where the products were shipped. Working with our data in a Tableau worksheet will be easier if we label the header rows to identify the data that is contained in each field. You rename a field by hovering your mouse over the top right-hand corner of the column. Click on the drop-down arrow that appears, and you can select Rename from the menu. Type the desired field name in the box and click Enter on your keyboard. Alternatively, if you hit your Tab key, it will automatically allow you to rename the next field box. So we can go ahead and finish renaming all of our fields using the combination of either clicking on the drop-down arrow that appears at the top or continuing to hit Tab to move over to the next field name. Be mindful of spelling as you do this so that when you work in your visualizations, you don't have a spelling mistake. After you're done entering all of your header row names, go ahead and click Enter on your keyboard. And then you will see now we have a header row identifier for each of our columns. We now can see that Tableau automatically anticipates a lot of formatting choices for us. This automatic formatting is very useful. However, it may not have assigned the data type to the data that we would like it to have. For example, both the record ID and the order number are typed as numeric data. While both of these items are numbers, we would actually use these data as categorical variables, such as for grouping or identifying unique instances of orders, instead of using them in a numeric fashion where we might perform basic math functions like adding and subtracting. As such, we may need to change the automatic format designated by Tableau to a different data type format. Above the header row, we can see the format of the data. A # or hashtag symbol designates a numeric data type. The miniature calendar with a clock designates a date-time variable. ABC would designate a string type for the data, meaning that anything, a number, character, or letter, could appear in that field. And then what we don't see in this data set, but what we might want to see, is something that designates a geographic role to the city, state, and zip code. So we're going to go ahead and begin with our record ID and order number, and we're going to change our data types from numeric to string. To do so, click on the pound or hashtag to reveal a small menu that designates all the different data types, and select string from that menu. Repeat that process for the order number. As I mentioned just a few seconds ago, we would like our city, state, and zip code to be designated as data types that have a geographic role. The geographic role will be particularly useful when we want to create map visualizations within Tableau. So clicking on the ABC above city allows us to reveal again that shortcut menu where we can see geographic role. Once we get down to the geographic role, we'll see another menu appear where we can select city, since that's what we have in that particular field. We would repeat this process for state, only this time instead of selecting city, we're going to go ahead and select state, or if you have a province, you would select the province there. And then finally, the zip code, which has been typed as a number type, we will go ahead and assign the geographic role of zip code or postcode to that. Now that we've typed all of our data to the types that we would like it to have, we can then go ahead and look at a few other things that we can do in the data set before we move on to working with it in a worksheet. We can sort the data in the preview table. So for example, let's say that we want to find out how many orders we have that there was one single flavor and size ordered. So we can go ahead and hover over the bottom right hand corner of the field, and we see a box with 3 different size lines appear. Clicking on that will first sort it by ascending. Clicking on it again will then sort it by descending. And then if we click on it a third time, it'll go back to the original sort that it had. You should also note that you can undo any action in Tableau by either clicking on the back arrow at the top left-hand side of the screen. And as we see, as I scroll up there, it also says we can undo an action by hitting the command Control-Z on our keyboard. Finally, we can also hide columns. So let's say that we didn't really want to know the date column, so we could go ahead and click on the down arrow that appears, just like we did to rename the column. Only this time, instead of selecting rename, we can go ahead and hide that column. And again, if you don't like the action that you did, then you can simply click on the back arrow or hit Control-Z on your keyboard.